Hey guys, I'm Mitch and I'm the owner of Direct Home Inspections, and today I'm releasing version 3.0 of my Spectora residential template. This template is designed to have the fewest clicks in mind. There's only 10 sections, minimal subsections, and everything is organized to save you time. So let's jump right in. So starting at the top here, we have inspection details. I try to keep it simple. They don't need to know the age of the structure. They can look that up. So we have in attendance, occupancy, style, and services. Have everything organized here. Temperature, weather conditions, which helps you. I have all kinds of limitations. This one is automatically clicked, default to checked. Just stating we don't inspect dehumidifiers, irrigation systems. It's all designed for CYA comments, which are very important, but I try to keep it simple. Dry conditions, home is furnace, older home, pest evidence, rain, snow, under construction, utilities off, vacant. You can breeze through this. This takes you 30 seconds typically. So moving forward to exterior and drainage, you have grounds, porches, hardscapes, siding, flashing trim, eaves, soffit, fascia, gutters, and drainage. So starting at the grounds, you can see I have a deficiency here, dense vegetation. We have the problem in bold, we italicize the implication, and we underline the recommendation. And as you can see here, something that I do is I put my most commonly used narratives at the top. Everything below this line here is alphabetically organized. So this alone saves me all kinds of time because frankly, Spectora's search feature isn't always that accurate. So it's good to have your template somewhat memorized and have everything alphabetically organized. And it's critical to have your most commonly used narratives at the top. So very common things, dense vegetation, grading negative flat, high soil grade at foundation, that's critical. Let's check that one out. Ground cover was observed to be within 6 inches or less of the top of the home's foundation. We have the recommendation underlined once again. So here we have hardscapes, just if there's a front porch, balcony, deck, you name it. Driveway material, concrete, asphalt, gravel. But let's move to siding here. So once again, most commonly used narratives at the top. And this is a good one to check. Exterior surfaces, annual maintenance, exposed wood, rusted metal, flaking paint was observed in one or more areas. You can always attach pictures and put notes under every picture. You don't have to be hyper specific. Just like for brick defects, this covers all of your minor to moderate brick deficiencies. You can change this as you see fit. Brick veneer has cracking, spalling, and or mortar deterioration in one or more areas. And guys, it's common sometimes to change one of these, omit one of these, rewrite it a little bit, you name it, but for the most part, very little has to be changed. Recommend tuck pointing is needed and repairs needed by a masonry contractor. Caulk missing, deteriorated, settlement cracks, that's for your brick and block walls. Vinyl siding deficiencies, very common. Vinyl siding was loose, missing, and damaged or substandard in one or more areas. It's not rocket science, guys. If you take a picture, obviously it's loose, damaged, or missing. You don't have to be hyper specific. Sometimes you want to be, sometimes it's not a big deal for obvious things like this. Let's go back to decks because you show me the deck, I'll show you the problem, but they all have different sorts of issues. And I have all kinds of narratives in there for decks. Bowing, joist hangers, ledger board brick veneer, fasteners, marginal condition. But sometimes you just have to type out the narrative. So something I have here is deck defects, and I'll just type them out manually. However, you can also get away oftentimes with deck weathered. The deck boards and her framing show signs of weathering, aging, and deterioration. Further evaluation repairs recommended by a qualified contractor. You can change that one a little bit, but I try to keep it simple for the decks. But like I said, I do have very specific comments in there for the deck. And moving down, we have the patio, settlement, porch issues, post in contact with soil, something you see very often, stringer deficiencies. And you can delete these things as needed, but it also helps you remember certain things that you might not see all the time. Also have graphics in there, InterNACHI approved where needed, steps design deficiencies. These aren't commonly used. We honestly do a lot of trip hazard and we'll just write the problem. But if you want to be hyper specific, you can. That's what's good about my template. For roof type and material, just a couple of clicks here. It's all built in. I don't have a bunch of separate informational comments. So style, usually gable or hip, material asphalt, dimensional, how you inspected it, you move on. Other competitors have a bunch of informational comments. It's all in one. And then I have informational comment for the client, just saying the average life expectancy. But something we commonly use is roof moderate wear. Roof had moderate wear at time of inspection. Wear such as granule loss, exposed fiberglass, biogrowth nail pops, buckling shingles was observed. You can add something or take it out as you need to. This is typical as roof ages. Recommend having a roofing specialist evaluate if repairs are needed. Roof nearing service life. Roof is aging and nearing the end of its useful life. Significant granule loss. Take pictures, you move on. But we get hyper specific with roofs, asphalt pitch shingle, less than 2 and 12 pitch, areas prone to leaks, kind of your quirky areas. That's just a good cover all for that. Nail pops, multiple layers, that's very commonly used. But once again, guys, most commonly used narratives are at the top. Tree overhang, debris there, shingles curling, buckling, shingle distortion, that's commonly used too. Minor wear, just as a CYA if the roof's 5 or 6 years old with your minor granule loss. We have limitations in there. Let's move on. Chimney, I usually snap a picture of the chimney and recommend a level 2 inspection. And then this is usually my most commonly used one for a chimney. Deterioration of the chimney was observed in one or more areas. This can allow water intrusion and facilitate further deterioration and damage of the underlying structure. So you can snap a picture and in the notes type in if it's on the crown, on the brick, even the flashing, but I have other chimney deficiencies in here as well. Moving forward, for the structure, we have roof decking and framing. And this is where I'll just note if it's OSB, truss, plywood, and then also I'll snap some pictures of the attic in there. Exterior foundation, have limitations in there. And once again, most commonly used narratives at the top. Deterioration, minor cracks, minor defects, prior repairs, that's very commonly used. Harge coat deterioration. But as you can see, I have all kinds of narratives in there. Let's do basement, foundation type and reference photos. So if a basement's finished or if I don't find any deficiencies with the basement or foundation, I'll take some reference photos of a moisture meter showing that's reading dry. Once again, especially if it's wood trim and it's a finished basement, it just shows that you did your job. And down here it says reference pictures may be attached showing that the basement or foundation was inspected using a moisture meter. Any deficiencies will be separately noted. All kinds of limitations, most commonly used ones at the top, once again, basement floor cracks, active water intrusion. It's important to note any stains that you see, any water stains, that's a big one. Just helps show that you did your job inspecting the foundation. Vertical cracks wider than an 1/8 inch should be sealed, and you can measure it and put that in the note if you want to. Typical hairline cracks, basement waterproofing observed, that's a good CYA in there. Let's see, potential microbial growth, that's a big one. And that's why that one's at the top, actually. And then everything, once again, is alphabetically organized below. All kinds of crawl space deficiencies. I live in Ohio, so we have slabs, crawl spaces, and basements, a little bit of everything. Poor aggregate mix, foundation wall bowing, leaning, horizontal cracks, stair step cracks. Efflorescence, that's pretty common. It's all in there, guys. Manufactured home. We don't do those too often, but that is a common issue, the tie-down defects. Some stone foundation ones too. We do have a lot of houses from the 1800s, early 1900s. So you show me the stone foundation, I'll show you the problem. Moving forward, framework, framing materials. Just a couple clicks, you move on. You don't need a bunch of informational comments. Potential microbial growth, once again, adjustable split jack post, sub 4 damage, water damage. It's good to note that, active leak or not active. Substandard repairs, wood destroying insect damage. We have that in there as well. And we have all kinds of framework narratives in here. Box sill, active water intrusion, deterioration, bearing depth for the beam. Let's see, beams not strapped to the wall, rusted, sag, separated, rotation. It's common to see a beam out of level or be uneven. Columns out of plumb, not secure, for uneven typical, joist in rot. Um, there's a lot in here, guys, a lot of good stuff. Recommend a full structure evaluation. This one's big, just for a house that has 20 or 30 issues. This is kind of your kill switch, saying that should be inspected by a foundation contractor or structural engineer. Let's see, moving forward, we have garage door and opener, the type, if it has reverse sensors and if they're functional. Have a little informational comments in there. And once again, most common issues at the top. And we separate detached structures. We don't commonly inspect them unless people pay extra for that. And so we have good limitation in there that it was not inspected. Plumbing section. So water heater information. You see a lot of guys' templates have 4 or 5 informational comments. I just have one, and that goes for the sump pump as well. Take pictures, take a video of the sump pump working, and you move on. So functional, age, capacity. If it's typically older than the year 2000, you're just going to write it up down here as water heater older. It's near or beyond its expected lifespan. You can take a picture, type in the note how old it is, you move on. Most commonly used narratives at the top, once again, expansion tank not supported, TPR valve leaking, improper discharge, rust, hot water above 130, and then TPR valve issues and sump pump issues down here. Now, typically it'd be alphabetically organized, but since the sump pump inspections after the water heater for me, I kind of separate water heater and sump pump. Let's see. So water supply and shut off, this is where we snap a picture, type if it's public or well, the location of it, and the material. We also check water pressure. We're not required to, but it's common in certain areas to not see a regulator or the regulator has failed. Most commonly used narratives at the top. So this one, we do a lot of homes from the 1960s and newer, and you'll see corroded plumbing. So I will combine all of my corroded plumbing deficiencies in this narrative. Corroded copper lines and or rusted fittings were observed in 1 or more areas. Copper corrosion has a blue-green color, typically normal as it ages, but will eventually develop pinhole leaks due to localized pitting. White calcium buildup may be present, which may indicate small or ongoing leaks. So it's not uncommon to have 10 or 15 pictures in that alone. And so it's all about not overwhelming an overwhelmed buyer. So the fewer deficiencies you can have in the report and combining things, the better. And realtors will be especially appreciative of that. And you're still doing your job, you're still being thorough, but you're also saving yourself time by snapping pictures and being a little bit more broad. Plumbing active leaks, I'll throw all my active leak narratives in here. Plumbing loose, very common. Substandard repairs, high water pressure, water spigot defects, or you can rename it to hose bib if you prefer. Sewer scope recommendation, that's big. We do our own sewer scopes. If it's a septic home, we have a little checkbox for that, saying it's beyond a home inspection. We have heating equipment, furnace type and brand, and something that my template has that no other template has that I'm aware of is I have a built-in HVAC and water heater age chart. So it's all alphabetically organized. Anywhere where you see bold, that means where you locate the year. I don't care about the month like some people. I care about the year. So every brand I've ever ran into in 5 years all goes right here. And so cooling equipment, this is where we'll take a picture and a video of the AC unit, its temperature output at a register somewhere, a little informational comment, and then all of our most commonly used ones at the top. It's very common to see it not level, insulation deteriorated, you name it. Ductwork and ventilation, that's a big one. We have a checkbox in there just to say if there is a radon mitigation system, we'll take a picture of it if it appears functional or if it's not. Ductwork limited visual, that goes for your finished basements. And we have all of our most commonly used efficiencies at the top, from ducts, flues to exhaust fans. Electrical section, just a couple of informational comments here. The electrical panel, snap a couple pictures, where it's at, if there's a sub panel. Probably need to clean that up a little bit. I'll work on that after this video. Double tapped breaker, neutrals double lugged, cloth sheath wiring, service entry frayed, and we have all kinds of electrical deficiencies in here. Let's move on. Lighting fixtures, switches, and receptacles. Now, for me personally, I have a checkbox for carbon monoxide and smoke alarms. It's a checkbox and it tells people where to put them. And that's about as far as I go. I'll snap a picture if something's not clearly present, but that's a good CYA narrative in there. Electrical fixture defects, GFCI protection recommended. Lots of outlet deficiencies in here, ungrounded. It's all in there, guys. So something I recently did, I used to have a separate section for fireplace. I moved that to interior. So it's interior doors, windows, and fireplace. And as you can see, this is a big subsection here. Ceiling stains dry. Always CYA, take a picture of the ceiling stain with your meter showing that it's dry. That's a big one. Drywall damage, drywall or substandard repairs was observed in one or more area. This could be due to active or prior leaks or from poor craftsmanship. Finish work needed, elevated moisture, moderate damage or wear, uneven floors, microbial growth, settlement cracks, water damage, WDO damage. It's all in there, guys. Window issues, difficult to operate, failed thermal seal, that's a big one, missing window screens. And then same goes to for my appliances, range oven and cooktops, functional, snap a picture of the range working, dishwasher and garbage disposal, snap a picture of the dishwasher, video of the garbage disposal. It's going to take a picture under the sink of the garbage disposal to show that there's no active leaks down there. Microwave, range hood, and refrigerator, appliance reference pictures, snap them, you move on. So that's about it, guys. I could spend a lot more time going through my template, but feel free to look at my sample reports. I have other videos highlighting how I perform my inspections. But that's about all I have for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I also have a commercial template and I have a pre-drywall template. I'll share the link below in the video of how to purchase my template. But that's all I have for you guys for now. Thanks for watching.